Do you ever struggle with finding the right words to give constructive feedback to people? Do you ever find yourself cringing when people say, hey, I have something to share with you about your performance? My friend, it's time for today's mentoring appointment. Come on in. Hello, my friend, and welcome to this week's mentoring appointment. So you want to know how to give effective feedback. It all really starts with knowing how to receive feedback effectively and to understand that there are actually four main feedback giving types. And the type of person that they are will depend on the type of, number one, response that you give to their feedback and the type of feedback that you can then give to them. I used to work in the restaurant industry, and every so often I would hear feedback about a person's meal. For example, let's say that a person came in and they ordered a steak, medium rare. Let's say that the steak came out well done. And unfortunately, I don't have control over that. Unfortunately, there are some people that didn't realize that I wasn't the person back there actually cooking their steak. And so, every so often, I had to receive feedback on that steak, on their meal. The first feedback giving type simply wants to be heard and validated. This would be the type of person that would call me over when I came to check on their meal. If I said, hey, how's everything tasting? Everything turn out well? They would be the ones to say, you know what, my steak is overcooked. And that would be it. They would simply want me to turn around and say, you know what, I apologize. You are absolutely right. That steak is way overdone. But they wouldn't want me to do much about it. They would simply want me to know, to validate the fact that it was overcooked, and then they would feel good. Feedback giving type number 2 wants to understand why what happened. For example, they might want to understand how come the cook cooking their steak cooked their steak too much. They might want me to say something to the effect of, you know what, I am so sorry about that. You are absolutely right. That steak is overcooked. I apologize. I know that the person in the back cooking that steak was a little bit too busy at the time. In fact, we actually had a large party come in just shortly after you did, and all 20 of them ordered steaks, and so he had quite a few that he was juggling at the same time. And so I apologize. Again, they don't necessarily want anything else. They simply want to understand why what happened. The third type would want to make sure that things change. They don't necessarily want anything changed for them. For example, they don't necessarily want a new steak, but they want to make sure that the cook who is cooking the steaks will be notified that they overcooked someone's steak and to make sure that he pays closer attention. To this type of person, you would simply want to say something to the effect of, you know what, I apologize. I will go back and I will personally make sure that that does not happen again. In fact, next time you come in, please ask for me. If you order a steak again, I will make sure it is absolutely perfect. And in fact, tell you what, let me grab a manager. Let me send them over just so we can absolutely make sure that this does not happen again. Once that's taken place, they feel good. Nothing more required. Feedback giving type number 4 usually want some sort of compensation, meaning, number 1, they'd want a new steak prepared for them, and they would probably either want a discount on the meal or a free dessert, or something to make up for the mistake that was made. In this case, they don't want to know what happened. They don't want to simply be heard. They just want to make sure that they can feel justified in the mistake being made with some sort of compensation. The way to find out what a person's feedback giving type is to simply ask. For example, if you were waiting tables and the person that you were serving said, excuse me, my steak is overcooked, you would start by apologizing and then say, you know what, I'm so sorry. How can I best take care of that for you? Do you want me to talk to the cooks and make sure that things like that don't happen again? Do you want us to cook you a new steak? Tell us, what can I do to make this right for you? Usually when asked with that specifically and given the option, usually they'll tell you exactly what they want. Not always, but it's usually the case, again, when you make it very, very clear that you're simply there to serve them and you want to know how to make things right. People will generally offer up whatever feedback giving type they have so that you can. Now, having said that, unfortunately, there is a 5th type, and that's the type that just wants to complain for the sake of complaining. Now, you've been around those people. You probably have that one friend on social media that every time they get on, they're always complaining about something. Of course, they love to complain about their parents. They love to complain about the weather. And of course, they love to complain about politics. These are the types of people that, unfortunately, nothing you do can make them happy. And so the best thing to do once you find out that that type of person is that type of person is to love them and treat them with extreme kindness. And then let them go. My friend, it is not up to you to try to force someone to be happy. Yeah, do all that you possibly can. Do everything in your power to try to make things right if you can. However, again, there are some people that regardless of how much you do, regardless of how much you bend over backwards, it's not going to make much of an impact, if any at all. Again, these are the types of people that you simply say, I'm so sorry that things happened that way. I promise that nothing like that will happen again. I wish you all the best. And leave it at that. If they decide they want to come and try your services or products again, great, give them a second chance. However, if they continue to complain, very kindly and very gently let them know, you know what, I'm really sorry. I don't think that what I do is right for you. And again, let them go. My friend, you are too valuable and your time is too precious to waste it trying to please absolutely everyone. It's not possible to please absolutely everyone, regardless of how amazing your products and services are. My friend, use these types. Solicit people's feedback-giving types. And watch how quickly rapport and sales go up. Great job on today's mentoring appointment, my friend. So that was all about giving feedback. So now it's time for you to give me some feedback by commenting below and giving us a thumbs up. My friend, make sure to subscribe to our channel if you haven't already. And of course, if you really want to take your life to the next level, join us at one of our next live events. Go to feelwelllivewell.com and click on live events and get yourself registered. My friend, your life will forever thank you because you did.